Calling something a 1-2 punch is a cliche, but when it's Hurricanes Helene and Milton, it's a knockout. South of Tampa, 75 miles, residents of towns like Minnesota Key and Grove City, who thought they'd already survived the worst storm of their lives, learned worse has no limit.
That was Helene.
Okay.
And then I don't have my marker got floated away, so I can't. But the black tape is where this one is. This Milton.
Wow.
Yeah, Helene, it ruined your insulation underneath, okay, and your vapor barrier, and obviously the particle board, this kind of stuff, the original flooring.
Yeah.
And then your top flooring, okay.
Yeah.
It ruined that. So I said, well, it's fixable. We'll go put more money in it. But now it's like you got to strip it right to the walls and completely rebuild the whole thing inside.
But after Hurricane Milton, this old Florida trailer park still standing on its foundation isn't just luck, it's a luxury.
Harry's trailer, see his front porch, that cement?
That's the front porch.
That was like mine, kinda.
Yeah.
His trailer was all the way over there on that side, up against that.
And it was moved how many feet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wow, 50 feet?
Yeah.
And this is from Milton.
Milton, yes.
Not Helene.
No, not Helene.
It was still standing from Helene over there. There's no other way to describe it but significant, the storm surge from Hurricane Milton. This was the front porch of this home that was pushed at least 50 feet into the neighbor's house. Just next door, that house caught on fire overnight. Everywhere, homes are a total loss here. And before Hurricane Helene, people who live here say they'd never seen water inside their home before.
It was my wife's grandparents put it here, and then my wife's parents took it over, and they owned it since then, and they passed, and we acquired it, and been in the family for 50 years almost. And now it's gone. I mean, this of course is the carport.
Yep.
Which, you know, is history. Oh, the carport. What I built stayed. What was here.
Yeah, this frame here, yep.
This was our lanai. This was our lanai, and I mean our kitchen was there in the living room, and you know, this is what we got now.
So many people, they see the hurricanes and they watch the videos, they see the repeated hurricanes, and they say, who lives in Florida? Why do you live here? I mean, I guess I can guess just by looking right there.
There you go. You know,
hurricanes like Milton, they don't just rip apart homes. They unravel the threads of entire communities, friendships, neighbors, the shared history of a place, gone in a night, scattered like debris.
That's going to be a question for everybody. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the renters around here are going to rent to seasonal people and not to the actual residents. So I don't know where we're all going to go.
We have a new high water mark in this neighborhood of Inglewood. It's close to the bridge to go out to Minnesota Key. It's about 5.5 feet, it appears, just from the outside of these homes. And what is just incredibly sad, everyone in this neighborhood just suffered through catastrophic storm surge from Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago. And you can see just how much work was done to demolish and remove and pile up to try and start that rebuilding process. And then everything has just completely started over. It's a mess. Everything's been scattered, lifted, tossed around.
Everything's all over the place now. I mean, none of this shit is mine. Their stuff is mine, and that car's toast, and now they can't even tow it out of here.
Was this
I don't
bad
even know
before?
how to start, where to start to get this stuff cleaned up now. You know, you can't even walk around here. The house was under rehab, and now they can't even get in here to work.
So everything you had worked so hard to do over the last week and a half, it's gone.
Yes, and even worse, a lot worse. I mean, this stuff wasn't here. You can't even get to the job site now.
How long have you lived here?
25 years. first time. The last one, Helene, was the first time it's ever been wet. And then this came along. I have no idea how high the water got last night. But see, all this stuff floated all over the place. It got pretty high.
We have stuff in our yard. I don't even know where it belongs because it's people's debris from the last storm that just never got picked up.
And that's obviously a frustration.
No, I don't think it would have been this bad if they would have picked it all up.
The headlines love to focus on the wind, how it rips apart both homes and domes. But the real destruction, that was south of the bay, south of where Milton made landfall. Down there, the water always follows. And when it does, it swallows everything in its path. Millions of you have tuned into my channel recently for my on-the-ground real coverage of these hurricanes, but I can't cover it all. So it's why I'm partnering with a company called Ground News. Ground News is an app and a website that combines local and international news sources from around the world in one place, so you can easily compare coverage on breaking news and even stories the media isn't really widely covering. Let me show you how the site works using conspiracy theories and FEMA. More than 150 articles have published on it. Less than 10% are coming from right-leaning media, making really this a blind spot for readers. And look how different the headlines are between right-leaning Breitbart and left-leaning Louisiana Illuminator. Of course, I'm so appreciative that Ground News believes in the journalism that I'm producing and is supporting my mission, but I also believe in the value that they can bring to you. It can really help you be better informed by seeing all sides of any story, and you can access information outside of your echo chamber. So please go to groundnews.com/JPET, or you can scan this QR code. If you subscribe through my link so they know that I sent you, you can get 40% off unlimited access.
Devastation. Everything is wrecked. I mean, I've not seen this ever. I've been here a long, long time. It's going to be a difficult recovery for us here. There's houses in the road. There's buildings in the road. Everything's in the road. Like, it's just devastating. It's crazy how wild this is. They just bought this one last year because they had a place across Placida that Ian wiped out. So they bought this.
So Ian wiped out the other place.
Ian wiped out their place across the street. This came up for sale because the lady had passed, who was here forever. She passed, and Bobby and Wendy bought it, and they've redid it. They've done a lot of work in it, Bobby has.
But they've lost 2 homes to 2 hurricanes in 2 years.
Yes.
One thing is clear. The infrastructure, the way it currently exists in many spots here along Florida's west coast, is going to have to change dramatically just after the last 2 weeks and the hurricanes and what those storms have done.
I think it was about as bad as we could have expected it still. I mean, I don't know if you've seen where the crane fell, but it knocked into the Tampa Bay Times building.
We have a saying in the news business, we just want to cover the news. We don't want to be a part of it. Well, unfortunately, in this case, the Tampa Bay Times couldn't escape it because a crane that was helping to build a skyscraper collapsed in the winds from Hurricane Milton, and it collapsed directly into the Tampa Bay Times building.
This is scary. I didn't even really think about the cranes at all till I saw we got notices on our phones, and my buddy ended up, he lives right by a different crane, like a couple of streets down, and ended up coming to stay with us, but this didn't even cross my mind, and wow.
Yeah, I literally have a crane behind my house, and was very curious about the rating of the wind rating and that, and so luckily yesterday afternoon we got a notice on our door, but that was the biggest scare. I wasn't really worried because like the street's at like 40 something feet, my apartment in the second floor is at 50 something feet, but that crane was the only real fear.
All right, we made it back over to downtown Tampa. I'm gonna go check in on Jay, Lieutenant Dan. He's moved his boat. As promised, after introducing you guys to Jay, otherwise known lovingly as Lieutenant Dan. He stayed in his sailboat. He made it. He's likely, as he said the other day, he's going to sleep out Milton, and it appears he is asleep. Going into it, there was a lot of, you know, I mean, you were worried about having to evacuate, even though because of the storm surge and stuff. That didn't quite pan out. Was this a hurricane that lived up to your expectations in terms of, like, you know what, this was crazy, or did it thankfully spare us?
I think it thankfully spared us. I think a lot of us got very, very lucky. Yeah, I was ready for the worst, and the worst didn't happen, which I'm really grateful for.
Mere miles, the difference in devastation. From Hurricane Milton.